Welcome back, YouTube. This is JAC Antics, and today we're reviewing the NCAA 14 and the NCAA 25. And with this game, we're just doing some comparisons, what things that I like, what things I didn't like, and also things that I wanted added to NCAA 26. So, with all that being said, it's in the game, baby.
So, two different college football games, both of them being released 10 years apart, almost to the exact date. They are more different than they are alike. And I know what you're saying, but they got all the same game modes. Yes, they do. But it is the intricacies of these game modes, how they play, the graphics, the new wear and tear system, that makes them so different, but also so much alike. So the game modes are essentially the same. I know what I just said. But let's go into the ones that are different. And let's start off with the single season play mode in NCAA 14. Now, that in particular, you just play offline, you pick any team that you want to, and you play a season. Now, it doesn't have the strategic mechanics like it does in Dynasty mode, where you have to scout players, you got to make sure that you do good in against certain teams to get those scouts and all of that nature. You just pick a team, play a season, and it's offline. But College Football 25 have something similar, which is Road to the College Playoff. It's essentially the same, but you play online. So, before getting into the nitty-gritty of college football, which is Road to Glory, there was two game modes that was included into NCAA 14, but it wasn't included into CFB 25. And I hope in the next college football game, College Football 26, that it'll make a reintroduction into the game. And those two game modes were Heisman mode and mascot mode. So let's start off with mascot mode. Mascot mode is just an exhibition match where you play as the team's mascot. All the ratings are set to 99 and you get to play as any team mascot. But the funniest one is where you can play as the Stanford tree. It still weirds me out how you can throw the ball with no type of arms, catch the ball and run the ball. It is so funny. And just imagine you could play as the West Virginia Mountaineer. It's just a guy. It's just a guy out there in regular clothes just playing against a tree. But it's definitely fun and entertaining. I hope that it makes its way back into CFB 26. So now let's move on to Heisman mode. And now with Heisman mode, you pick a Heisman winner of the past and you play through a season as them. And you're just not stuck as them on their particular team. You can choose any team that you want to be on. If you want RG3 on Alabama, you want Herschel Walker on Oregon, you can pick that. You want Barry Sanders on Boston College. It's really your picking. But you still get to play as them in a season, and you have to hit certain markers to win the Heisman and the particular challenges to get to their numbers. You can pick from different Heisman legends such as RG3, Barry Sanders, Mark Ingram, Doug Flutie, Desmond Howard, but it's a very select few that they get, and I only wish that it was in CFB 25. But for CFB 25, it would have been incredible to have a mode such as Heisman mode to play as certain Heisman winners such as Devontae Smith, Bryce Young, Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel in this new system with College Football 25. Hopefully, since they didn't add it in 25, they added in CFB 26. But we gonna have to see. So let's get into the nitty gritty of college football. And that game mode is Road to Glory. Now, Road to Glory has been a thing in the college football series since NCAA 06, which was called Race to the Heisman, and then eventually changed the name in what we know today is Road to Glory. Now, in Road to Glory, the aspect of is to create a character and choose out of the positions of quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, middle linebacker, and cornerback to take on the college world with any team that you choose to be on, because you can get offers from colleges, but also you can become a walk-on. Now, being a walk-on on CFB 25 is quite different than being a walk-on in NCAA 25. Now, the differences are, with NCAA 14, you start off with your senior year of high school. Now, with that, you just pick 3 schools. You start off picking 3 schools to decide from of where you want to go to. Now, the aspect of that is to do well your senior year to rise your stock or your prospect from becoming a 0-star recruit to a 5-star recruit. The more stars, the more school offers you're going to get, and these schools are going to pick you up. But with CFB 25, I honestly kind of don't like this approach, but I like the mechanics behind the approach of this, where you pick from 5-star to a 2-star recruit. And this part I really don't like, is where you just answer questions and then you pick to see what schools are interested in you. It's not as elaborate as going through a senior year of high school to see, or at least a couple games, a senior year of high school to see where your stock lands. But the mechanics behind it is fascinating, because if you pick a 5-star recruit, obviously more schools are going to have their eye on you, and it's going to be more likely you're going to start right off the bat, just depending on the school that you go to. Now, with a 2-star recruit, majority of the time you're not going to get play time your first year, because you're the underdog, and that mechanic is definitely well appreciated, and I hope they bring that back into CFB 26. But some of the other mechanics that are pretty different. Now, with NCAA 14, it has something called reaction time, and only certain positions have this mechanic, such as quarterbacks and halfbacks. And the reason why is to help to slow down the gameplay and to survey the field to make the best decision on the fly, because sometimes it is needed, because some of these players are just flying at you and you got to make quick adjustments, juke moves through the defenses. But in CFB 25, that mechanic is not there. They have something called the wear and tear system, which is definitely great for simulate. The mechanics behind that are, the more damage that your player takes, the more it affects their stats and how they move, how they maneuver, how they throw the ball, how they run the ball, and things of that nature. Even on the defensive side of the ball, that is affecting their capability of making plays and impacting the game. Then the other differences with these two games are the way that we level up. The leveling up system in 14 is slightly better than it is in CFB 25. Now, with 14 and CFB 25, they have something called coach trust. But the coach's trust works a little bit differently in both of these games. Now, coach's trust within 14 works as it gives you extra attributes, and it allows you to call audibles throughout the games, because the coach trusts you more with the playbook, and you can maneuver the gameplay how you want to. As in CFB 25, coach's trust is just to help you get a spot on the field. And the way of leveling up your player as far as attributes, it's a little bit different. It's more on focus on just getting certain points that you earn from performing well in the game, and it gives you like these little bars, and you can just spend your points, and sometimes you have extra stat boosts for just a couple games, or you have permanent stat boosts where it stays there for your whole career. As for CFB 25, it's more so of a balancing act. Now, this balancing act is you have 6 credit points each week to spend it on leadership, studying, health, XP, and your notoriety. Now, the notoriety, in my experience, and I played a lot of CFB 25, the more notoriety you have, the more likely you're going to get selected for the Heisman race. And that's mostly, that aspect is okay, because like, okay, it makes it real deal assimilation, and instead of more arcadey. But the more balanced the act with it makes you study, because you're going to school, because you have to maintain certain aspect of a GPA to even stay on the field. And if you do bad and your GPA lowers, then the coach will not let you play. But also, you have to maintain getting XP and make sure your health is okay throughout each week. Now, this mechanic and this aspect is definitely intriguing, and I will welcome it again if it's in CFB 26. But I would say at least make it so that you get a little bit more XP by just playing the game. It seemed like it relied more on the points that you get every week, the 6 points that you get every week, and sometimes those diminish because you might sign the NIL deal that week, and it requires like 2 or 3 points before you get that in the NIL deal. So it got to be some type of balance, more of a balance with that, where you can gain more XP by just gameplay alone. Because yes, you're getting points and XP from good gameplay, but it don't seem like it's actually enough, especially if you're an underdog. Like, you gonna have to extremely ball out if you're an underdog. But if you're a 5-star recruit, it's easy. It's easy mode. It's barbecue chicken, you know. That was Shaq said, you know.
Congratulations, you have reached your destination. Barbecue chicken alert! Barbecue chicken alert!
But with all that, I think that it could be a lot of improvements to CFB 25 that I hope they incorporate into CFB 26. And the couple things I will wish is to bring back your senior year of high school and play that out. And it don't even have to be the full season. It can just land you straight into the playoffs and see how that roll out. Let there be more opportunities to gain XP without it affecting your health. But that may be one main core of the balancing act that they have for this new system. That is a thing. And by all means, just don't let picking answers be the end all be all to what colleges accept you. And I wish they can do away with that and figure out some way to implement that into the senior year, the high school senior year, and how you get picked from these colleges. Then one of the last things I wanted to be added in CFB 26 that wasn't in either game besides the senior year of high school in NCAA 14 was playing both sides of the ball in your college career. I'm surprised they haven't added that yet, since you have players like Charles Woodson and now Travis Hunter. Come on, it's time. But yeah, those are my thoughts and my hopes for the new CFB 26, which is releasing this summer. And thanks for watching. We're gonna come back with another video real soon. Thank you again for watching, and till next time, guys, peace.